This is Mr. MegaManFan. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. You know all the things to do. It's time for another Goodwill haul, and I will be testing 4 out of the 6 games that I picked up today, leaving out the PS4 games. I will have to get to those off camera, but the reason for that is that I've also got some accessories that I want to test, and I've got something to test them with. But as you can see, the pickings from the bargain bin are running rather slim at this point. At first, I could get some more interesting stuff like Batman Arkham games and SOCOM games, but now we're getting down to just sports games. And I suspect by the next time I go, there may not be anything left in the bargain bin that I want at all. But for now, at least, there are still a few. And these were actually $1.99 for 2 games, so slightly less than $1 a piece, but with tax, slightly more. I think there's some decent, complete games here. All these discs look to be in good shape, and everything came with the manual, so I really don't have much to complain about for $1 each, especially when you would pay more with tax and shipping on eBay, and you would certainly pay more at any other local store. So be sure to give your thrift shops a chance, especially if you don't mind adding a few sports titles to your collection, especially when they have a bargain bin full of complete in-box games. It's an easy way to beef up your library, and not all sports games are irredeemable. Just because they're dirt common doesn't mean they can't be fun to play. As mentioned, I've also got some accessories to go through here. I've got a Wii Power Brick, and I needed one for a console that I picked up from my friend Phil. I've also got a sensor bar that I can plug into the back of it, and I bought a spare sensor bar for another Wii console that doesn't have one, and so I have a control to use with the Wii that I'm referring to. Here's a Wii Motion Plus that was in a bin of controllers for $7.99 each. That's worth it for a Motion Plus. And now to test those Xbox games, starting with the Madden title. I'm not going to get into full gameplay of it right here and right now. I just want to make sure that it boots up and works properly. And as long as we get the EA Sports, it's in the game, I'm going to be satisfied that it is a properly working game. And when you know it, there's that familiar logo and that familiar voice. Whoever said that for Electronic Arts hopefully got paid handsomely. And we've got the same thing with the NBA Live title as well, with the addition of several NBA players saying it. Now, this is the Wii that I picked up from Phil. It's called the Family Edition, and it comes in this nice aqua blue color. But unfortunately, it doesn't have GameCube controller ports or GameCube memory card slots. So if you're hacking this Wii, which I'm going to do in this video, you should keep in mind that you're not going to be able to plug in a GameCube controller to control some of the menus, or to use a restore NAND if you have to unbrick your console, because you need a GameCube controller to enter controller inputs to unbrick a console. So slightly riskier to mod a family version Wii, but you can still do it, and I found an even easier way to do it than I had been doing before. So, first, before I do any of that stuff, I'm testing out the Wii games that I picked up and the Wii controller that I picked up, and it seems to me that things are working the way they're supposed to be. I'm not surprised. I expected them to, based on the condition of the discs and the fact that I picked up this Wii directly from somebody who fixes and restores broken Wiis, so if he said it was working when he gave it to me, I was pretty sure it was going to be working. But this is actually the first time I've booted it up since I picked it up a month or two ago. It just didn't have a power brick for it, and he didn't include a power brick with it, and I wasn't expecting him to. He probably figured I would just reuse one of my own, but since power bricks were only $5 at the thrift store, I decided to pick one up right then and there. Now, for this new method I discovered, you need the MAC address of your Wii, which is above the LAN adapter MAC address in the system settings, right above where the hand was. and you enter that into a website and it generates a letter bomb for you. It'll literally look like a bomb, and when you click on it, it'll take you right to the typical Wii homebrew channel installer that tells you don't ever pay for a console that has had this put on it. You've been scammed. And then from there, the process is pretty much like any other Wii that you've ever hacked. So if you want a real simple, easy way to hack your Wii that doesn't involve an internet connection or any other tomfoolery like entering a different user agreement URL, this letter bombing method, it really is the bomb. Just Google search Wii Hacks Guide. It'll be a URL that's spelled pretty much the same way. And the methods on there change from time to time, and you should always check which model of Wii you're hacking and which region it is and which version of the system software is already in it, because that can change which method is the right method for you to use. But once you do that, you want to make a backup of your NAND, no matter which version of the Wii you're on, and you want to install this preloader, which has a bunch of things to keep your Wii from getting bricked, and it includes things like blocking online updates, so Nintendo can't disable any of your hacks. I also like using the preloader to make the Wii region free and to skip the startup screen where you have to press A. It'll automatically press A for you. There are a million other options you can do. Then I recommend the Homebrew browser, as does the Wii Hacks Guide. It's the place where you can download a bunch of utilities, try out a bunch of demo scene games that people have made for hacked Wiis. It's got all kinds of useful shit on there. And when you're all done with all of that, you should have a homebrew channel menu that probably looks something like this. The custom iOS installer is also something that I highly recommend because certain homebrew applications require custom iOS, and you want something like Revolution if you want to play patched versions of games like your own custom Mario Kart tracks. But there are a million different things in the homebrew browser I could go over. I don't want to give you the whole rundown right here and there, but I would say USB loader, Revolution, and the homebrew browser are definitely three things to have. And if you want to run games directly off an SD card with a hacked Wii, you also need to install an iOS 80 patch. It's pretty easy to find. There are several different ways to look for it, but you need this because otherwise when you try to load games directly off an SD card, it will say failure to launch. But once you have that iOS 80 patch on your Wii, no problem. You can run games directly off SD card, or you can go to the homebrew channel and use something like USB Loader GX to mount games directly from a hard drive or an SD card or a thumbstick or anything else that you want. You don't have to run them off the SD card. I just like the convenience of being able to store things on the SD card and not completely fill up the Wii's internal memory, because it's quite small, and if you want to play a lot of different games, it's the way to go. The USB loader and the Wii Flow will also let you play disk images, so you can make backups of your valuable and rare Wii games, and then you don't have to worry about putting them in and out of the console all the time. So for all of the games I picked up today and all the Wii accessories, I only spent $30, and now I can do all of this. I'm Mr. MegaManFan. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you again in a future video.